All right, good morning. It is 9 o'clock. We're going to start on time today. I've got all the note takers approved, so we've got like 14 of those in here, so we're good to go. Those of you who I don't know, Matt Pitts, GM of the Inspire Group. Brett is out today. I want you guys to flood him tomorrow with the Big 5-0 text because I think his birthday's tomorrow and he's the Big 5-0. So celebrate Brett by blowing his phone up. He would love nothing more. Show him the love. But hey, we're gonna jump right into stats. I see Raquel, Richard Bass on the call. How you
What's
guys
going
doing?
on? Super good.
Good.
It's a
Doing
beautiful
good,
Monday.
guys.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna jump into stats. Look like they're up. We got Broward single family homes just updated this morning. Thank you, Luke. March 30th, 972 active listings hit the market. 148 went under contract. Looks like we got 106 pending. The 148 under contract is the largest number we've seen in the 5 weeks here. 205 closings, also largest number, and 112 expired. I'm going to jump over to condos real quick.
Is there a way to click enlarge just a couple of clicks?
Oh boy, you're asking me big things.
Luke, isn't there a little triple button somewhere that you
Are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Press Command and then the plus symbol.
Oh man, real time.
let's see what happens, man. It might just blow up and we're on to articles. Look at this. Do it a
Hey,
couple more.
hey.
Look.
Thank you, Luke, for the
And the
tech
minus will do the opposite.
hack.
Teamwork making the dream work.
Man. Okay. All right. Broward condos, we're going to jump on. Looks we got 846 that came on the market.
Condos is down below that.
Oh,
There it
yep.
is.
Thank you, sir. We got 972, correct me there, 972 that hit the market. 148 condos went under contract, largest number we've seen in 5 weeks. 205 closed as well. So that is also the largest number we've seen. Richard, Rick, any comments on Broward County?
Trending in a positive direction.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Broward is continuing to stay pretty strong for the last month, 2 months now.
Love it. Love it. All right, we're going to go over to Miami-Dade. Single family homes. There we go. 719 active hit the market. 151 under contract and 203 pending. We closed out 261, which is again the largest of the month. See a trend there, but overall, pretty solid, just like the other two we've gone through so far. And then we're going to jump into condos right below. And we've got 970 active, 95 under contract, 170 pending, 180 closed so far. Pretty solid numbers, gentlemen. Same comments there.
It's the condos in Miami-Dade are actually showing a lot more softness than the single family home market is for some reason. I think if you were to look at it in price points, you would see a lot of difference there. I'm seeing what do you call it, a more of a split between the high end and the affordability in Dade County in particular.
Love that.
If you
Luke,
were to compare, just curious, Richard, the higher end versus lower, where's the softest segment from your perspective?
Um, Miami-Dade County, from everything I'm reading, what I'm seeing, it's the affordability issue coming into play, the mid markets.
Got
Um,
it.
Dade's gotten so expensive. The condo market's been driven by Brickell and South Beach, the high end South American, California influence taking effect there, and the middle is being squeezed out.
So what I hear you saying is people with money still have money, but the ones that are sort of on the cusp are being challenged and stretched.
Yeah, you'll see that even more in Palm Beach County.
All right.
yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
going to ask Richard where cash purchases may be interrupting some of this in the divide line. So,
Yep.
all right,
Yeah.
Palm Beach, single family homes, 827 active, 229 went under contract, and 322, the largest closing canceled and expired have pretty much relatively been the same the last 3 weeks. So not a ton of change there, pretty consistent as well. And get over the condos. 128 went under contract, a little down from the week before. 83 pending, 202 closings. Over 200 in closings in Palm Beach County condos last week, which is the largest in March, as we see week over week. Richard, any comments there?
Yeah, one of the things that I think you're seeing in a lot of these numbers, the closed sales, which have stayed relatively strong, are the properties that went under contract before this skirmish in Iran started. And I had mentioned last week, I'm real interested to see what happens with these numbers in the next couple of weeks going forward, how that starts affecting things. You had asked about cash sales, about strength or weaknesses in markets. And I said Palm Beach is where you're seeing that more than anything else. The Palm Beach, West Palm market, the coastal here in Boca del Rey, some of what you're seeing is just absurd. I mean, properties selling for 100 million plus, the number of properties selling 20 million plus has just gone off the charts. You've never seen this before. It's a result of the billionaire influx coming down here. But that's kept the rest of Palm Beach pretty darn consistent. We've not seen the changes in Palm Beach that we've started seeing elsewhere. But the condo market, the numbers you showed did start slowing up just a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll keep watching that over the next couple of weeks and see how the change in consumer confidence is hitting this. Not just the rise in interest rates, back up at 6.5%. And I read just recently that mortgage applications dropped by 10% since the start of the war. That's to me is an indication of what the public is thinking about. Is this a good time to buy something?
Love that you went there. What was the quote unquote rate that we said things start moving or things start slowing down? Does anybody remember? Yeah. Frankie, I see
That's
6.
it, Frankie, 6%.
Yep, 6%. So it's actually right at 6.64. And if I look at the rate this morning, where's the 30-year showing up?
Yep.
6.64.
6.64. So this is a number we've been quote unquote talking about for a while now, and it actually hit that exact mark today. So they say at 6.64 historically, that either slows down or speeds up. If it's below, it speeds up a little bit. If it's above, it slows down. And to your point, Richard, the longer this conflict goes on, the more we've been talking about how things could be impacted. Richard, anyone have any insight into that?
Well, not everybody's sensitive to rate in the same way. And I think it goes back to affordability. And, if a half a point changes your entire landscape on whether you buy or don't buy or sell or don't sell because of the transition cost, there is a piece of the population, but I'm going to guess it's not 50%. It's more like 10, 15, 20%. And every time I see these stats, I'm reminded that the trajectory looks steady. And if you're getting your unfair share now, what does it take to continue to get your unfair share? And it takes, one or two purchases a quarter, in some cases at the right price point to make your year. It's the margin. If your target audience, there's 50,000 people in your area that could work with you and buy or sell real estate, just focus on the numbers game, regardless of the stats. Play to win and play to your conversations.
Spot on, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump into. Someone say something. Sorry.
Go ahead. Well, I was saying, Frankie asked in the chat, what do you do to keep your business on track during this? And Frankie, to me, it's real simple. You just need to study what we're talking about in these Monday calls and have, have better conversations with the people that you're talking to. And Justin put in there, you just need to be out there talking to more people, but you need to have the right information to have those conversations with them.
Exactly. I think the secret is in your conversations with prospects and clients is to help them see past the noise so that they don't become debilitated and locked up. Like, don't let the noise stop you from your dreams because we all know the best time to buy real estate is now and any time in the past. And even if you mistimed and bought at the peak, if you hold it long enough and you haven't experienced this fulfilling, everyone wins. Your world, your family. And so just remind them it's just noise. Stay focused on the prize.
Spot on, spot on. So we're going to talk three articles today. Most of those articles are practical applications, so we're excited to talk to you about that. The first one is an article on what today's buyer really wants and what that means for agents. And basically, the article goes into the buyer has changed over time. The consumer behavior has changed, which many of you know, but most of our buyers are more informed, they're more selective, and they're actually harder to impress than they were in the past. And they're not just buying a house anymore, the article goes in to say. They're actually buying how they want to live. So some of the points of the article that I loved, and I'll let the guys speak to it, but it said that function plus flexibility is more important than size now. So function plus flexibility, what they're able to do inside the house is more important than size. Emotion is more important than specifics. So think about when you are doing write-ups, doing videos, etc., when you're talking to your consumer, obviously emotion is more important than specifics, and lifestyle is more important than the features of the home. And when your listing is competing against the entire internet, those three things really happen. So, six key trends it goes into driving buyer decision in 2026. All right, number one, it says the layout flexibility outweighs square footage, which I mentioned. Starter homes, buyers want thoughtful designs, natural beauty, and a sense of belonging. We'll get into a little more of what that means. The paint colors, 40% of buyers say paint color strongly shapes first impression. I think most of us know that. Calming neutrals and earth-inspired tones. Number four, the Instagram effect. Got some Instagram stars on here. Social media trends are shaping real-world expectations. So curated pantries, reading nooks, handcrafted chickens, handcrafted kitchens.
At
That is.
least you're in the right room for chicken.
That's right. Craftsmanship, quality materials obviously is important. And curb appeal. Nearly half of buyers hesitate if a home does not feel right the moment they arrive. So when we're telling stories, when we're putting out descriptions, when we're doing Instagram videos, are we hitting all these? Richard Battis, Rick Hill, what do
So
you think?
two ways, yeah, two ways for me to look at this, Matt. And these really haven't changed an awful lot over the 30 plus years that I've been doing this.
No.
The colors change a little bit and how the kitchen cabinets are change a little bit, but none of that changes. But two different conversations you want to have. If you're taking a listing and you're walking through the house and you're making the right notes about those 6 points, are those the points that you're hitting when you're advertising and marketing that property? Because that's what the buyers are looking for. Now, if you're working with buyers, when you have your initial buyer conversation with them, yeah, you still want to talk about motivation and you want to talk about their ability, but are you asking them these types of questions? Tell me about how you're going to live in a house. Who's going to be living it in with you? How do you envision that house to be? Tell me about what you are looking for, what you're living like in a house, and you're getting these type of questions answered. I'm loving the commercials that I'm seeing on TV now for homes.com AI, that a buyer can now go online and search and use AI to search for the specific house that they want. Are you asking those questions so that you're the one that can work with the buyer and answer those questions without them having to go online to search it?
Love that. Dave
Yeah.
had his hand raised
Yeah.
nicely. Dave.
So it was one thing when we're talking about curb appeal. I just remember this objection handler that Nikki Ubaldini talked about all the time, and she was telling a story about when she was working with some buyers, and it was the mother and the buyer in the car, And they pulled up to the house and they said, "Oh, I don't like the way this house looks." And Nikki says, "Well, it's a good thing you're not going to be living in the front yard. Let's go inside and look." And they went in and they loved the house and they ended up buying that house. So just always remember that objection handler. And the other thing I read this weekend was, regarding marketing, and when we were talking about how we're going to market a property to all these things, 40 some odd percent of clients come from your database, and probably another 40% come from personal or agent referrals. So when you're talking about marketing, we're really only marketing to a small percentage. So getting really specific for the house instead of mass marketing, I think is really important right now.
Well, and a reminder too that people buy emotionally or they make their decision emotionally and then they intellectually justify it. That's what that construct creates buyer's remorse sometimes because they emotionally attach to something. Then when the emotion shrinks, that intellect catches up with them and they start doing the X and O spreadsheet and they're like, what the heck was I thinking? But the secret sauce to listings is to create an emotional attraction that's undeniable so that at least they're in the game because people often stay in the game once they commit, and commitment's the hardest step, right? And so just a reminder, first impressions are massive. And then there are some emotional disqualifiers like a smell or, the evidence of past leaks. Like you can't just get by with that in today's market. You've got to tighten it up and make it, all of these things really boil down to presentation. And my advice is find advocates for you to go through a home before you list it to give you another set of eyes and ears. And so bring an agent with you. Two and three people can see things one person might not. And then on the buy side, I think the key is to arm them with, the ability to use you for their emotional mirror. Like you mirror back what they're feeling and thinking so that they can process it more effectively and make sure that, sometimes that deal is exactly what you said, Dave, getting past the front yard and the front door so that you actually experience something that is truly rewarding. Because people, I'm telling you, I don't know, I've had hundreds and hundreds of buyers in my car. And usually the decision to buy or not buy is within the first 60 seconds. Like when you walk up, if the key doesn't open the lock smoothly and I'm jiggling, and then there's just an energy that goes with this house isn't really well cared for. And then the first step into the front, foyer can sometimes dictate emotional attachment or disengagement. And so train your buyers to recognize, don't disqualify it until you've really seen the entire package, which goes back to what Dave said. Do them the favor of fully seeing the entire picture and not becoming myopic.
Spot on, spot on. All right, we're going to move to Article 2. Article 2 was all around the real reasons agents plateau and 5 ways to break through. So I'm excited to talk about this one with you. But really it talks about, and something, if you didn't know at Keller Williams, we have something called multi-year trends. You have access to those in your business that can track everything from closed units to GCI, et cetera, that you've had year after year, month after month that we can share. And this article is all around agents plateauing in the last 4 to 5 years, not getting better, not getting worse, and how to break through that. And it says that agents really plateau because they don't need something new. They plateau because they stop doing the work that actually works. And I think that's so important in today's society because we all know the basics. We preach the basics of conversations, database, follow up. But if you're like me, we all tend to drift. And in the attention media world that we're in, it's very easily to drift and start grasping at different things. And he says that the basic skills that people always do a good job who get out of drift is they go back to the basics. And the basics, I'll just ask Rick or Richard, whenever you got into a drift or of some sort, or you plateaued, what basics did you actually avoid doing, or did you find yourself avoid doing that you had to get yourself back in the rhythm of in your careers?
You want it, Richard?
Rick, probably like you. Every January 1, you sit there and you look at it, and it's like, holy crap, I'm going to do this all over again now, and you like go into a funk. If you go, if you're used to doing massive numbers and all of a sudden there's a slow downturn for something, you start panicking. What did I do wrong? People don't like me anymore, and it's like, stay the course. It's all up here in your mindset. Just stay the course and do what you have to do every day. When Gail and I were running our business with big numbers, the networking that we did with other people. I mean, Dave Gervais, you're sitting there right on the screen. You are the best example of this that I know. You travel all over the place to meet with other like-minded agents. And when you do that and you're in the room with those agents, it keeps your mindset going where it has to be.
I always found it's not just that, it's being the connector for everyone else. It's not about me, it's about who I can connect with other people, and then they're always going to be reciprocal. So, build your network and talk to people. It's the best way to run. My first luxury event 27 years ago, I heard the best line ever. Networking is the most professional way of running a business, period. It's the highest way to run a business, and that's stuck.
Yeah, for me, it's mental. If I'm in a rut, I'd remind myself that structure equals freedom. The more structure I bring to my day, the more likely I'm going to identify behavioral things I can do to supercharge my mindset and my perspective. And I'm also reminded that, when I use the wheel of life in my book, Stop Settling, and as a benchmark, and we use it also in the 5-year future self workshop. And today it just hit me like a ton of bricks. There's a health spoke, and most people lump all health into one thing. It really needs to be two spokes running concurrent. One is mental and one's physical. And mental leads to positive mindset. Physical leads to the empowerment to feel strong enough to be better with both. Like they're interrelated. And so I think it comes down to how do you bring the greatest sense of mindset and purpose to the equation experience and then create some structure. And those that have taken Ignite, I think they've renamed Ignite now. I'm now the OG of the family.
120.
There you go. But if you remember the way to, man, this is the Ignite launch strategy for accountability is called the Daily 10-4. Anybody on this Zoom, tell me what the Daily 10-4 is. I'll send you a free book, a thank you note, a hug.
A hug.
I'll virtual hug anyway. I'll do it.
Virtual hugs.
Virtual hugs are good. All right. So if you're in a rut,
It's 10 new
find 10 people not in your database, put 10 people in your database, send 10 thank you notes, and preview 10 homes in your target market area so that you're the subject matter expert. If you do that 3 or 4 days in a row, you will not be in a rut and you will find business literally inside of a few weeks. It's genius. And all it is really doing is goes back to who said that? Was it Justin? Go find a friend and go have a quality conversation and add value. But it's a force. Remember, structure equals freedom. It's a form of structure that holds you accountable to staging conversations because there's always quality in the quantity.
That's right. And what we just hit from the article is exactly what it describes. So the first one was that we track our business, we go back to the basics. The second one is we track what's actually working, which Rick just went over. Number 3 is a big one today, I believe. One of the biggest one is we eliminate distractions and noises. So the question I ask myself is, what are we doing right now that feels productive but isn't actually producing anything? Yeah. Number 4 is we commit to consistency. Richard, you talked a lot about consistency and over time. And number 5 is we raise the standards and operate like business owners, right? If we truly ran our business like a business owner, we'd be tracking this, we'd be eliminating things, we'd be consistent. So I'm going to flip over to the last article, keep us moving. And the last article is all around, we're now getting out of plateau and moving into momentum. And this article is all around how to get into momentum as an agent. And it talks about momentum not being luck. It's more about being in alignment. And every business is tracking up, down, or flat. And momentum comes from focus, not doing more, but doing what actually works over time. And the points that he makes around momentum and the strategy does. Momentum comes from focus, not doing more. And the question, I guess, is where are you trying to do too many things, it says in this, instead of narrowing it down what actually works. And the second one is compounding is the game. Consistency over time is everything. Those who've been in the business a long time and been successful understand the compounding effect and what that looks like. And Number three is alignment matters more than effort. I think as entrepreneurs, we all think that we can just put our head down and run through a wall 90 hours a day and make things happen, which in sometimes is important, but it's more about alignment many times than effort. We track what works and we double down on that. Is it sphere of influence? Is it open house? Is it on leads? Is it direct mail? Is it past clients? Um, a lot of times we get into the effect of we try 10 to 12 things and do them not very well versus 2 to 3 things and go really deep. And then the last one is most agents break momentum by switching too soon. I love the quote that you never know if you're on the 5 yard line or the 50 yard line when you quit something. And I think that's a big thing to point out that we do as agents. Rick, Brett, anyone thoughts on the last article? What stood out to you?
If you think you can, you can. And if it's been done before, it can be done again. And it's about, if you're in a rut, find a good role model. And if I did like it, I did like the idea of going back 3 years and analyze every client you've had for 3 years and determine where they came from to find your natural flow. And then figure out what you can do, maybe differently. If what you did before isn't working today, rethink how you're approaching your conversations in the database or the sphere of influence that you're going to attract going forward. Not everyone's equally capable of buying or selling real estate in the current market.
Spot on. Anyone else?
I had,
Stop chasing.
sorry,
Go ahead, Nadine.
I was going to say the part about giving up too soon or quitting too soon. I find, especially with people in coaching, also people seem to expect their businesses to take off within 90 days. Whereas when you think about most businesses, how long does a business really take to be profitable? And they really need to be looking at their development and their actions and their business as growing, not popcorn, not Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
So just a thought. Hang in there, everyone.
Crock pot. It's a crock
Yeah.
pot, not a microwave. Nadine, that's
Right.
brilliant. And don't quit before the magic happens. You're literally one or
Exactly.
two conversations away from doubling your income for the month.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
All right, Richard.
Yeah, a lot of agents out there, a lot of people chase the shiny objects. It's like squirrel. What's next? What's the one thing that you're going to take away from that you're going to add to your business? And you give up on everything else that you've been doing without realizing that's what's been driving your business. So don't, I want to say don't chase the shiny objects, but don't give up on what you're doing. Add that shiny object as something else in your toolbox that you have that you can use going forward. And if you're tracking your business properly, you'll know what's working, what's not over time. And it's like if you've got 8 different sources, and is that my feedback?
I think
I
so.
think it is.
It's Matt's mic picking you up, I think. Matt, because I can see who's
Blipping.
pausing it. So if you could mute real quick, Matt.
We're down to 60 seconds. So we're good.
All right. That was weird. So I say, if you're tracking your business properly, and I did this over a 20-year period, I had a spreadsheet that not only tracked where all your business came from month by month, but I also tracked financially what each of those was costing me, what my return on investment was. And every quarter I'd look at it and go, okay, this is what's driving my business. Rather than chasing something new, am I better off just putting more money to developing that even stronger? That's the strength of being able to track your business. And the multi-year trends is a start point, but if you're a businessman, you're really going to go a whole lot deeper than that. Start with your multi-year trends.
And I'll add one last thing if okay. I just remember the lesson I learned. A question unasked is a question unanswered. There's somebody that needs you right now, and if you don't reach out, take the risk. And this was, by the way, driven by the whole social thing, get over yourself, about leaving, social messaging and using social media. If you don't take the risk and you don't lean in and ask good questions, you may miss a real opportunity to serve someone at a really high level. Be strategic and purposeful in your messaging. Get over the fact that it's not for everybody. Like, don't be self-conscious about who's going to interpret it a certain way. There's someone that needs that message right now. And if you withhold because of fear, you probably eliminate the opportunity to really make a difference in someone's life. What we do is bigger than sell houses. This is Give yourself the credit you're due for changing lives.
Mhm.
Love it, Rick. I'll just finish with I don't believe you need a better plan. I don't believe you need a better strategy. We need to stay in the game when it gets hard here. And because the ones who win ultimately are the ones still standing. And I think the biggest learning lesson I learned over my time in real estate at this great company was those who have come before me who are still rocking and rolling and still doing it at a high level consistently have just lost more, got hit in the face more, and just stood up more. And I would just implore you to keep standing. And I hope you guys have a great week. Hope you got some value today. And we'll see you. We'll see you soon. Have a good week.
See you guys. Great to see you
Thanks,
with the
guys.
cameras on. See ya.